All right, welcome back to the shop. This is volume number 3 for the crash repairs on high voltage number 11. So we left off last time was I epoxied the motor mount in, got it all set up in alignment jigs. Off camera because the seams were so tight, I just used CA to really just hold it all back together. So now we're gonna take it out of jig, and what I kind of look for is as I release stuff on the jig to see if it moves. But the incidence on the wing is still 0. So I'm going to pop the clamp loose and no movement at all, what you want. So that's good. It didn't move at all. And if I go to move it, it doesn't really, the whole fuse is moving with it. So it's one solid piece. It actually pieced back together much better than I thought. But tonight's going to be, it'd probably be a little bit of a short video because what I'm going to do is going to clean up the front a little to see anything in place. And then I'm gonna use some fiberglass to reinforce the inside where the cracks are, just to really play it safe. But my new mount worked pretty well, so I'm happy with that. So again, take a look. The slot in it, and we'll do it. My aluminum spacer worked well. All right, so very happy with the overall repair. It looks pretty good. Back in good alignment. So exactly what I expected. All right. So what was interesting is I noticed on the leading edge, I've got a crack in the leading edge now. Like it looks like the bird hit the prop and then went into the wing a little bit. The wing is a little bit of a crack, so it's the leading edge crack. Um, but overall, not too bad. So just gonna be careful popping over the jig here. So if you just take a look at it, you can see where the crack is through the seams. But it fit up really good. Everything fits so good. I just use CA on it. To really hold it in place. Now I got to just flip it over. I got to touch up the bottom. There's a couple spots here where I got to do it. But even that came out really close and pretty good condition. So we'll need some filler on a spot because I'm missing a piece of wood up here and one on the bottom. All right, let me get the jigs out of the way. But it's always nice having really good alignment tools or jig to help you build. So not only did it help build this plane, but it also helped make repairs. Because you can get it back in exact alignment again. So just putting the stab alignment back in. All right. All right. So overall, pretty good repair. We're gonna have to work sand and blend all this in. This will definitely need a little bit of. Got to make some pieces to stick in there. The cosmetic stuff, but structurally, right now, it's in good condition. All right, so I'm gonna. I just want to see how well I can see in here. Move the Velcro back. All right. All right. So now we're gonna reach in here and take the mount out. All right. So not bad at all. I mean, it's kind of funny. The checkers all line right up. So it's very. I would say it's just about perfect. Once I get the mount out, I'll be able to get a better look inside. Let's see if I can. Anytime you get a lot of vibration, you got to just check everything good. If I see a stress crack already, then I'll have to fix. Um, and what I'll do is get a magnet to get the rest of them. I got one more to get in there. Clean that up a little bit. Hmm. This is just a 1-inch aluminum spacer. It's been screwed up on both sides. Um, so you can use it to set motor mounts, and pretty straightforward. Just stick it on here, so I got it. And so I mean, I got some excess epoxy. I gotta clean out on one side a little bit, which I knew was gonna kind of happen. Okay. And just let's get a better look in here. And the spinner fit up has looked pretty good. I have to get the motor in, but that looks pretty good. Alright, so I'm gonna glue up the bottom that I didn't get to before with some CA, and then I'll cut a small piece of fiberglass that'll fit in. Got a crack in here I gotta put back in place. I'm just running CA in any of the cracks to hold it together. I'm gonna have to sand the whole nose out anyway. What I will do is reach in here and get some CA and where the cracks are on the inside. The crack down at the bottom of the nose. Like I said, what I'll do is I'll just drop some CA in right now. Okay. Check there. Want to make sure it's the drive. Want to flip it around. Again, here's another. There's a little tiny spot right here, so we can open the crack. A little Q-tip, and I'll just pull all the CA out. I noticed that the carbon that I have around the battery mount opening kind of split. So I'm just impregnating it with CA. What I'll do is I will wipe the excess CA all off with this. Yeah, that'll stiffen that up a little more. Okay. All right. So now what I need to do is so I have to do is get some fiberglass right around here, about here somewhere. So let me get some fiberglass. I think I'll use some. I got some 2-ounce cloth, which will be plenty. I'd go with ½ ounce, but that's a little light. It's really not going to do much. Probably 2 ounce will probably be okay. All right. Glass. So I really don't need a big piece. Probably a couple inches. It's maybe more than enough for that. All right. Now, what I'll do is I'll just lay this over here. Give me an idea on how much I need. There's a former in here. That's not. I'm just fitting it up on the outside here. Sure. It'll be a little bit of pain to do. Maybe hold up so I can see. It's a little bit. I'm gonna do my flashlight. It's here somewhere. Have fun with it. What I'm trying to do is just get it in place here. I just mark it. I'm gonna make a little cut on this. It's easier to do outside. What I do is I just took a little V out of it because it goes up around underneath in the cowl area. Right around here, I needed to fill in there. And I really just want to make sure I get it right along this crack and apply some of this fiberglass to the motor mount as well. I'll mix up some resin here in a second. And all I'm going to do is soak. What I will do is just soak this in resin so it's coated, and then I can just push it in place and work it in place with a. Well, it's close enough. And now what I need is a pair of rubber gloves. Pair of gloves. I don't like them. Let's save this piece of fiberglass. Um, right. I also have some they call glass bubbles, 3M glass bubbles. This stuff is like filler. It adds a little bit of strength, but it's very light. So what I'm going to do is uh, after I put resin all over the fiberglass, I get it in place. I'm going to mix in some of the glass bubbles into here to fill in that little spot right there. I'm going to put filler in there, and there's another over here a little bit, and then on the top there's a spot. I'll take advantage of while I have extra resin, and even in the inside, I'll work that in there a little bit too. Um, but let's get going. So you're gonna acid brush, and again, I've shown this before. You just take some CA and you wick it in against the edge of the acid brush right there, and it'll keep all the hairs from coming out. So probably one of the best tips I've ever seen. I don't know about you, but I always get aggravated with doing something and you see a hair in it or something. All right, let's mix up some red. So mix the resin. I'm gonna just put the cloth in place. I may do is take a little drop of CA and put it on hold the cloth in place. How it's gonna do is just to hold this in place here. I'm just gonna drop a little bit of CA. Okay. And what that'll do is it holds the cloth in place as I go to push it down. So I don't know how well you can see it. What I have is I have it tacked with some CF there, and now I'm going to impregnate the cloth with resin. Just make sure you soak it through. It's going to be a little bit of pain because it's not the greatest area to get to, but we'll have to work through it. If it was on this side, it would be much easier because I could look right in and see it. This one I kind of got to look from a different place. But I'm pretty happy where the glass will be. Like I said, this is just some reinforcement. I don't need that right there. Just a little bit of reinforcement here. Um, so what you want to do is you don't want to disturb the glass too much. You just want to get it impregnated in some of the glass. You really want to try not to brush it. And what I will do after I'm done here, is I'll see if I can get a heat gun by it. And I'll see if I can warm up this resin a little bit. And then what I'm just trying to do is just push the glass in, impregnate it with resin. You know, I got it just into the tying into the motor mount, not getting in the bolt holes areas though, or the mating surface. And I mean, it's gonna gain a little bit of weight, but it's in the nose. It's not the worst. It's not like in the tail. Tail is just, one of those deals where you just don't want any weight to be gained. I'll just drip some resin in there. How will it? Uh, right, not bad. I just want to see if I can see how long I can see. I got a spot on the inside we got to kind of work in. I think I got it. Not too bad. I got it pretty good, it looks like. Want to make sure I got nothing on. The motor mount area. Okay. All right. All right. So now just on to a little bit of the cosmetic piece of it. Um, all right. We're gonna add these glass bubbles in, and what you want to do is you want to mix it so it's like peanut butter. And believe it or not, it takes quite a bit of this. It's actually a lot more than you think. So very similar to the Superfill. This is probably a little bit more strength in it than Superfill. See, right now it's two running. So we'll add some more in it. But you add a lot of this, and it doesn't add almost nothing weight-wise to the resin. And the more you add, the easier it sands. Okay, we're starting to get there. And this is the stuff I'll use and mix up and put in the corners of a mold or something if you ever. Probably needs to be a little bit thicker. Ah, a little bit more. I want it to be really like peanut butter so it doesn't come off. Because I don't want it when you turn the plane one way or the other. A little bit thicker, I think. And the thicker it gets, it gets to become pretty dry. And that's pretty close. A little bit more. I really want it to just stay suspended in wherever it's to stay suspended in the part, not run out and drip out. But and what I will do is I'll put more of this on the nose I need because I'm going to sand it off anyway. I just want to get all the couple spots filled in, and this will gain like this will be a no weight gain pretty much. And really just whatever the weight of the resin is. Make sure your hands are clean because you don't want to. In fact, what I'm going to do is take the gloves off. Because nothing worse than getting epoxy on your gloves and then drip it and putting fingerprints all over the plane. Actually, what I'm going to do first is I'm going to kind of fill these areas. And yes, it's more than I'm putting on, much more than I need. And it's really just to cover the walls. This is all going to get sanded in anyway. What I'm doing is just, I got to sand the nose anyway. So what I'll do is I'll put much more of this on than I really need, and I'll just sand it off so I don't have to keep building it up. Um, like I said, I mean, it's much more than I really need. Again, my whole goal is here is to really just have one good sanding here and get the shape in and not have to go back and fill any spots. So 90% of this material is coming back off. But I'm just using it. Like I said, my goal is to build up more than I need, and I can just shape it all back. I'd rather be high in spots and sand into it. So this stuff sands very easily. And this is where the spinner chewed up a little bit of it as it came apart. So what I'm doing is just kind of building up the edge. And this will all get sanded in flush. Because I have much more material than I really need. Trying to make this repair as quick as possible, I guess, or spend the least amount of time filling stuff back in. Um, so what I'll do is I'm using the method of putting too much on and I'll sand it all back off. All right. That's how we do it. Kind of the 3M glass bubbles. I think they work really well. All right, so once this hardens tomorrow, we'll sand all this in, we'll work it all in around. Um, and by tomorrow, I mean tomorrow night, after this is all dry, I'll have it all sanded in and it'll be ready to start finishing on. Um, my plan was to fly it before I did the finishing, but I may change that plan based on the weather around here. And I got quite a bit of work to do, but it looks like I can tape off everything from here, at least from the gold back. I can tape everything off and just really focus in on the checker area and a little bit of black area. So, all right. Hopefully you guys are learning something out of these crash repair videos. To me, it's always a great opportunity to bring something back. And like I said, this really wasn't that bad. I'm just looking inside, make sure I put nothing on there. Just making sure the bolt areas are clean. I don't want anything because that will upset the alignment. But everything looks good there. So, yeah, and the mixture is really not. Again, this is why you want the mixture like really tight. In this case, it won't come down. Because if it was loose right now, they'd be tripping out of here. Wouldn't be achieving what I'm looking for it to achieve. Maybe it'll sag a little bit. But, all right. That's all I got for tonight. Oh, and the other, just from a safety standpoint, what I always like to do is take the resin out. And in this case, I got a cardboard box here on the floor, and I just like to spread it out. Because the resin builds up heat as it cures, and if it's condensed in a spot, it'll get really hot. So I just like to kind of spread it out. Because if you actually mix too much resin and let it sit in a cup too long, it will actually catch on fire. It gets that hot, but that's, one pump, like for example, West Resins, 1, 2 pumps, and you're working it, not a problem. But you put 3 or 4 pumps in a cup, and you don't spread it out quickly, it gets really hot where it'll actually burn you. So something to just be aware of from a safety standpoint. All right. So hopefully you guys are enjoying the videos. We'll be back up in the air this weekend, weather permitting. So thanks for watching. If you like to hit the like button. If you really like it, tell your friends, subscribe. Until next time, thanks for watching.